Oh, hello. I'm Sketch.
And I'm Shades.
And this is
Geeking Out with Shades and Sketch.
Welcome back, LTLs. Welcome back, Shades.
Oh, welcome back, Sketch. Good to be here.
Guys, every time you join us in a different corner of the Geeking Out multiverse where we peruse the space stations and the sewers and the everything. But this week...
Oh, it's a real treat, long-time listeners.
We're bringing it back to the natural world.
We are deep in the jungles of the African Congo.
Are those jungle noises?
They might be.
And we have, the people said, nay, it does not exist. But we, intrepid explorers as we are,
we left no stone unturned.
And
spared no expense.
Close on the Crichton. We stumbled upon King Solomon's diamond mine, the long fabled diamond mine of King Solomon.
Yes,
deep
within
the African Congo
jungle of myth and lore.
We had to fight our way through from the indigenous guards, which we will talk about soon.
Oh boy.
And we are rewarded with riches galore.
Hashtag murder apes.
Murder apes. Oh,
murder gorillas? Murder apes. Hashtag murder gorillas.
Guys, if we're hashtagging murder gorillas
in King Solomon's mines,
that must mean that we're talking about
Congo.
The Michael Crichton book turned 1995 cinema.
Well, loosely based on Michael Crichton's book.
I didn't read the book.
I didn't
only watched the movie for this. So before we get into the movie, do we have a theme song this
we
week?
Do, Sketch. Brass monkey, that funky monkey, brass monkey.
This movie does have a funky monkey.
It does have a funky monkey. A martini sipping monkey.
Yeah, guys, were you worried there wasn't going to be a martini drinking ape on a plane in this movie?
Oh, God.
Worry no more. Perfect. So, guys, so this happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Obviously,
happy belated Thanksgiving to our Canadian long-time listeners. You
saw where we were going with that. Obviously, this is the Thanksgiving
episode.
But no, in all seriousness, this is our Thanksgiving episode.
Let us give thanks for Crichton
and the funky monkeys.
This
is our Thanksgiving episode because this was a longtime listener request.
Oh.
This was requested by longtime listener, nobody from Jakku. Has fond memories of this
Nobody's
movie.
from Jakku. You've done it to me again.
And so we thought, you know what's a good way to thank our LTLs? Let's do a
listener request.
So gather the family around. I'm sure you've all eaten your turkey and your stuffing and your mashed potatoes
and your
monkey martinis, and your sesame cakes.
Stop eating my sesame cake.
And
now lived in my brain for the last 25 years.
Perfect. And now you gather the family around and take in some Congo with us.
Yeah.
So we're only going to spoil Congo, the movie.
Possibly the careers of some of the actors. Possibly.
I think the movie might have spoiled some of the careers of some of the actors.
Strong agree.
Okay, so can I go first with my history of Congo?
Sure.
Okay. So I was aware of the movie Congo, and I was aware.
We were all aware of this movie.
I was aware that it came out after Jurassic Park. I had this notion that it was going to be, or it was meant to be, like the next
quote unquote event movie.
Yeah. But it didn't do anything it didn't have any interest. I had no interest in it, so I didn't go see it, and then I forgot about it like forever. But I always had the vague notion that I knew what it was about. I thought it was about
I can't wait for this.
Like a group of biologists or zoologists releasing a monkey to the wild, right? And I was kind of right about that. But I was also really, really wrong about that, too, because it starts as a bunch of scientists releasing a monkey to the wild. And then there are diamond satellites. And there are lasers.
Communication lasers.
There is Tim Curry doing an accent, a strongly chosen accent.
It was a choice.
Oh, and the monkey talks.
Well, it's signs, and then in a Sequest-esque.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you
Darwin in extrapolator.
If you're someone who says, "Oh, Sequest has a dolphin that talks," then you would say Congo has a monkey that talks.
Right.
There's a science behind it.
Faux science.
Yes, a faux science, but for all intents and purposes, it's a talking monkey.
Yeah.
And like, so I was kind of right in that it is a bunch of group of scientists releasing a monkey into the wild and like being hunted by the indigenous monkeys of the area.
Well, okay.
Like that's what I
First
thought
of all,
it was going to be.
They're gorillas. They're people.
Apes.
No, they're gorillas. They are gorillas.
Aren't gorillas apes?
They're gorillas. Gorillas are their own thing.
I thought gorillas were apes like chimpanzees are apes.
I don't think that's correct.
Oh,
Long-time listeners, right into the show.
All right.
I don't think that's correct.
Okay. And then what? So what else? What were you going? So there are gorillas.
There are two species of gorilla, the eastern gorilla and the western gorilla. They are their own thing.
Okay. So they're unrelated to chimpanzees.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they're like related.
So then what's an ape? I guess we're getting to the bottom of this.
Like an ape is an ape and a chimp is, I don't know, Sketch. I'm not a zoologist.
Okay. A primatologist?
Sure.
Our main character in this, there's a bunch of main characters in this movie.
Well, I mean, we're led to believe that
our main character is a primatologist.
It's yeah.
And we're going to talk about it.
Is he the main character?
But I think my biggest takeaway from the movie was
Bruce Campbell is in this movie.
Bruce Campbell's in the movie for a hot second. I was really confused.
You don't say.
Because at no point in the movie did they ever get into a line in a party-like situation and dance.
Sketch, I believe that is the conga, not the Congo.
Okay, I take it back, Congo. I will remove that mark that okay. That's an easy mistake.
It is.
Okay.
I can see how that happened.
Yeah. So the first time I ever watched this movie was to do this podcast, and I was immediately surprised. Because it starts
with Bruce Campbell.
Oh yeah, it starts with that, but he's also talking to a communications mega entity.
Right.
To get diamonds for a satellite. And I was like, whoa, I was way wrong about this movie. Right. And then like the next scene is like, hey, we got to release this monkey to the wild. And I was like, I was kind of right about this movie.
Yeah.
And then we go from there. Shades, what is your history with the movie?
Okay.
Congo.
This was not a Graham movie.
Probably a wise decision.
But this was one of the movies that Graham explained to me.
Mm-hmm. Now,
I just want you to try and put yourself in 1995 Shade's shoes here.
So Graham saw it.
Graham, like 70-year-old, like 67-year-old Graham saw this movie.
Sure.
So, Graham trying to explain the movie to me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, just like, I was concerned she was stroking out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not to make fun of stroke victims, very serious, but Graham trying to wrap her head around this and then describe and there's a gorilla and then there are other gorillas and I 1995 Shades can't distinguish which gorilla's good, which gorilla's bad, and there's a laser and
to be fair, the movie does a really good job because
of
the good gorillas are all silverback black gorillas.
Right.
And the bad gorillas are all like albino white,
right,
gray.
Like grayish kind of blue, white.
So,
depending on the lens on the camera.
if you saw the movie,
yeah,
it's pretty clear.
It's pretty clear.
You got to give the movie that.
They're all. This is my favorite thing about this movie, and we've talked about how did this get made before. I don't remember what movie they were doing, but a guest on the show in the middle of another episode told this story about how their friend from college got like taken is the word they used to go and be one of the people in the gorilla suits for Congo. Like they were all like
their big claim
MFA students.
Yeah.
So I imagine they were also probably unpaid.
Oh yeah.
So that's you got your 15 seconds in a gorilla costume getting sliced and diced by a laser. But I digress. This is a movie that Graham described to me, and I never saw it except for on television.
Yeah.
So bits and pieces. I have never seen the beginning of the movie.
How long was she committed afterwards before you found out this was really the plot of the movie? And you had to go pick her up and say, sorry, Graham.
Sorry, Graham. I don't know. I don't know that we ever talked about it again, but
sore subject.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen the beginning of this movie except for when I've just watched it for the pod. I don't think I had ever seen it all the way through.
Interesting.
But living vividly in my brain was the scene between Delroy Lindo and Tim Curry.
Oh, yes.
Which is filmed in Pasadena.
Oh.
They intended to shoot it in Uganda, where that scene is supposed to take place, but it's shot in Pasadena, just outside of Los Angeles. At the Huntington Garden. I just visited that on my cross-country trip. It's beautiful.
You hit all the Congo spots. I mean, the cross-country trip.
Nothing like Uganda.
The cross-country trip was specifically for Last Starfighter and Congo.
Yeah.
Production
100%.
sites.
That scene of like, have a piece of my sesame cake.
Yeah.
Have a piece of my sesame. And then when Tim Curry's Mr. Homolka takes it, stop eating my like that. Stop, like when he shouts, stop eating my sesame cake. It's a great meme. And that is like lived in my brain for the last 25 years.
Wow.
And I think I've only seen it once on television until the rewatch.
Wow.
But I remember being very confused by this movie for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's
confusing.
It's very confusing. It is not a well-constructed movie.
It is not the finely tuned package that Jurassic Park is.
No.
So if they were trying for that,
and it's like amazing. Like Michael Crichton is probably regarded as one of the like best movie, TV, novelists. Movieist? I don't know what I just did there. You long-time listeners, you know what I was trying to do there.
Writes books that are adapted into the film.
Yeah, produces television of our time. The number of times that he tried to like theme park goes wrong, like weird creature thing.
Yeah.
I guess his thing was like science or like natural thing is corrupted by technology.
Yeah.
And goes haywire.
Altering the natural order of things.
Yeah, that was always his thing.
That coming to bite you in the butt.
Yeah, which is then interesting because then like his last book was like a rebuke of climate science.
No idea.
He was like mocking the concept that the planet was. Anyway,
I've only read Jurassic Park and Lost World of his books.
I read The Terminal Man. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, so a lot of the movies that he wrote though really don't work that well. It's like he's very well regarded, and he like his book to movie ratio for conversion is like really good, but like the movies themselves are kind of hit or miss.
Okay.
Based on my experience of watching Michael Crichton movies.
Yeah. I've now seen 3.
I mean, there are a lot of
them. There are a lot. I just know.
Sphere.
Yeah.
Sphere was another one. It's good. It's good until right up until the end. Like the first half of Sphere or the first 2/3 of Sphere is really good, and then not so much.
I started reading Sphere, and I'll get back to it, but it was making me very uncomfortable. the claustrophobic nature of being underwater.
And then Timeline. Did you ever read Timeline?
Nope.
I read Timeline in college. I remember being really excited about it and talking to you about Timeline, and then we watched the movie, and it was not, like, really not good.
No, I can't remember the movie.
It's probably good that you've erased that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's not good. Paul Walker's in it.
Is he really?
Yeah. It was like the movie he did other than Fast and Furious movies.
He did a surfing movie too, I think. But otherwise, yeah, Fast and Furious was his bread and butter.
Yeah. Timeline, not good. Great book, not a good.
So interesting. We're talking about Congo, and we got to Fast and the Furious.
Well, I mean,
that's like such an interesting
6 degrees.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious. Yeah. Okay, but so that's my crazy not crazy history with Congo. I had never seen it all the way through, and but I enjoyed it. It's a movie that you want to like. It's got all the elements of like an amazing movie when you think about it. It's kind of, what did I write down? It's Temple of Doom meets, I can't read my own writing. Damn it. But it's like, it's kind of Temple of Doom.
Oh yeah. No, there's an aspect of that I have in my rave section, which I plan to talk about. I can't get past the fact
there's a martini drinking drinking gorilla, guys.
I could accept that, but I couldn't accept that despite what I've been promised, there was no, plucky southern string instrument doing the soundtrack. No, sketch that sketch that's a banjo. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a simple, okay. That's fair. To be fair, though, not so far from a monkey drinking a martini on a plane. And we haven't even talked about the end of the movie that I really want to talk about.
They then drug and push out of the plane. They drug
the monkey anyway.
And push it out of a plane strapped to Ernie Hudson. Ernie Hudson's in this movie. He's fucking fantastic. And they parachute down to the ground. The monkey then, we keep saying monkey. She's a gorilla.
She's a gorilla.
Like a 400-pound gorilla. She then immediately wakes up.
Not a real gorilla.
Not a real gorilla.
Otherwise, Ernie Hudson,
Ernie Hudson,
that would have
fantastic.
Been like a physical feat of strength.
I want a spin-off of this character for Ernie Hudson.
Oh my God! With all the rehashes and sequels that we get out there, how does this guy not get his own movie?
Monroe Kelly.
I know his last name was Kelly. I
Captain
remember that.
Monroe Kelly.
Yeah,
was so fucking good.
We're gonna get there.
Terrible British accent, but just fucking amazing. Ernie Hudson killing it.
He crushed it. He absolutely crushed it.
Tim Curry crushes it in this movie too, but his accent is as nonsense. I wonder if that was a choice because Ernie Hudson's accent was not very good, so he was like, "I'm going to do this crazy accent that's not good."
It was a choice. It was a very deliberate choice. There's nothing.
He's supposed to be Romanian.
There's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing Romanian about it. He's just Tim Curry.
Completely expected at the hippo attack part where he's like, all right, I come clean with all of you. And then I thought he was gonna be like,
I'm not.
All right, listen. I'm from upstate Brooklyn, and I just want to get these monkey jewels.
I get these diamonds.
And then I'd be like, okay, now the accent makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, if you haven't seen the movie and you want a good representation of how Tim Curry sounds this entire movie, he sounds like Borat, playing a philanthropist, who's funding a monkey releasing expedition.
They're gonna,
a gorilla releasing
spoilers
expedition.
For the movie. It's like
nuts.
It's a humanitarian animal rights movie wrapped inside of a technology weaponized action flick disguised as a jungle adventure, romancing the stone, Temple of Doom kind of thing.
Yeah.
The movie does not know what it is at all.
And we'll get there. I have something to say about that a little bit later.
Should I do
history of the actual movie?
History of the actual movie?
History of the actual movie. Let's go on an adventure that is so convoluted only Ernie Hudson can get us through it. Ladies and gentlemen.
I agree.
Nope. Ernie Hudson's turning us down. Shades, you're going to have to take this.
Oh, shit. Okay. Understandable. Longtime listeners, I have said this before, that like the history of a movie is bonkers.
Sometimes it's even better than the movie.
They need to make a movie about the making of this movie, because it is bonkers.
Yeah.
It is insane. Okay. After the success of his previous film, The Great Train Robbery, Michael Crichton decided to write a screenplay specifically for Sir Sean Connery as the character Charles Monroe, an archetypal quote-unquote great white hunter akin to H. Rider Haggard's Alan Quatermain. Interestingly enough, Sean Connery would later play Alan Quatermain in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, actually his last movie. Isn't that terrible as his last movie?
Yeah.
I digress. Envisioned as a classic pulp adventure, Crichton successfully pitched the film in 1979 to 20th Century Fox with nothing else than that description.
Okay.
All right, so it's a great white hunter movie with Sean Connery, and we're looking for King Solomon's Mines, and they're like, yes, we're in.
Yeah, I mean, based on that description, I'm in too.
So this is 1979. When Crichton learned that he could not use a real gorilla to play Amy, he quit the project.
Wow. It sounds to me like Michael Crichton just wanted to meet a gorilla.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's your out? Can you imagine if there was a real gorilla? Like, did he think they could actually teach a gorilla how to sign? Like, did he?
Yeah, because that's the thing. He
sounds like such a crazy eccentric, akin to like Stephen King, but like 10,000 times crazier.
So he's saying
what?
He wants
I can't have a real gorilla. I'm out.
He wants a real gorilla in this, but he doesn't just want a real gorilla. He wants a gorilla that's been trained for life to communicate with sign language,
and they're like, we can't exploit.
There are only
there are like 6 of these gorillas in the world, and you can't have one
for your movie. Yeah.
That's like, we don't do that anymore. It's like, and I wanted to smoke and drink martinis.
Yeah, and it does.
All of those things happen in the movie, long-time listeners. Okay, so he quits.
Yeah.
The film was offered to both Steven Spielberg and John Carpenter, both of whom passed, I think wisely. And eventually, Frank Marshall agreed to direct the picture. This is 1989.
Wow.
And he reads Crichton's book, and he goes back to the production team. He's like, I like the part when they're in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I like the part with the talking gorilla.
Oh, sure.
I like the part with the King Solomon's Mines, and like they're in the jungle, and I don't like anything else about it. And they're like, okay, and so they hire John Patrick Shanley to rewrite the script. And when the trailer for the movie eventually comes out, the teaser for the movie eventually comes out in 1994.
Okay, that lines up.
They credit John Patrick Shanley and Michael Crichton for the story, but when the film finally came out and all of the production, marketing, the Blu-ray, the DVD, the VHS, Michael Crichton insisted on having his name removed, and so they only credit John Patrick Shanley.
I'm not putting my name on any movie where I didn't get to meet an ape.
Where was a real gorilla in this movie?
Yeah.
So
I don't want to be associated with fake gorillas.
So the only thing that like winds up being from the book Congo, the only thing that carries over is the name and the fact that there's a gorilla. Everything else in the movie is like a creation of Frank Marshall and John Patrick Shanley. So the book is, from top to bottom, the book is different than the movie.
Wow.
I mean, it's just bonkers. Yeah. Now, this movie is cooked up in the like cocaine fever dream of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be the next event movie. This was a Paramount movie. Mm-hmm. This was Paramount Pictures if you could go back and look at some of the marketing, if you hop on YouTube and search for like the Congo like commercials and press materials, one of the Paramount executives is like quoted as saying the audience has like the moviegoers have to feel like their lives are meaningless if they don't see this movie.
Jesus.
Like this was the next event movie.
That's
right.
That's a bold marketing.
The marketing strategy for this movie is by far more entertaining than the movie itself.
I did after I watched this movie and I was like, wow, how was I expecting such a different thing? I looked up, I only watched one theatrical trailer.
Yeah.
And the theatrical trailer that I watched was pretty close to what I thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, also, they kind of marketed it as like a suspense horror kind of thing.
Which is what I think one of the reasons why I was like, oh, okay, not this movie.
It's why I did not go see it. This was not a movie I saw with Graham because of the marketing for the movie. They were like, it was very much like, they made it seem like a heightened Jurassic Park from the like marketing material.
And I don't know. I was never really into the Beatles. So like, I didn't want to watch a biopic about their drummer. You know, like that wasn't going to get me.
Sketch. That is Ringo Starr, not Congo, Ringo.
That's an easy mistake to make.
Richard Starkey.
I could not have been the only one to have made that connection.
Longtime listeners, right into the show if you thought this was a biopic about Richard Starkey.
So the credits started rolling. I was like, where the fuck was Ringo?
Not one.
I don't think I saw a single Beatle in this.
You would be correct.
Yeah.
Not a Ringo Starr biopic.
Maybe I missed
Sketch.
something. Maybe I missed something on the trailers.
I'm a little concerned, Sketch.
Yeah. Sounds similar.
Are you stroking out on me?
I don't know. Is
not
this the stroke
to make
episode?
light of victims of stroke. Are you okay?
I'm great.
Okay, let's keep going.
I'm better than some of these monkeys that are strewn about us in the mine here.
There's a lot of gorilla meat.
A lot of gorilla meat.
That's
the best way to put it.
A lot of gorilla meat
Yep.
on the floor.
Sketch.
How much do you think the movie cost to make?
Okay. That's a fair question. I would say it looks very low budget at times.
This movie to me, again, like this is the second time this movie screams B movie to me.
Oh yeah.
But it's got
some
big names attached to it for the age.
I will say this movie cost $37 million to make.
That's not a terrible guess, Sketch.
And a pile of bananas.
Yep, and
gorilla drugs.
A portable mini bar of martinis.
Yeah. Crucial.
This movie cost $50 million to make.
I wasn't wildly off the mark.
That is a respectable budget.
That is. Yeah, for 95.
And this was a movie that was clearly shot on sound stages.
Yes.
They did not.
This was not on location.
This was not on location.
No.
Like when you can always, I love when you're like pushing through the jungle and you can tell like the leaves are plastic and they don't want to move.
An easy way to tell also is that you'll never see dead foliage.
Yeah.
You know, every plant is pristine.
Yeah.
It has been highly
There's
gardened.
always a little like fog machine going.
Yeah. I mean, you have literally when they're setting up the camp, you see a plastic scorpion on a rock
sitting
and
there. No movement.
They
could have tied a string to it.
They could have done something, but they didn't do nothing.
Fishing line and just pull it a little bit.
Yeah. No, we were very much on a soundstage.
Yeah.
I think it was in between sessions of Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's exactly where I was going.
They were like, all right, Blue Barracudas won this round. We're going to set up the stuff, but if you guys want to use the Hidden Temple for your monkey flick, go ahead.
Everybody in the pool.
Can we get Tim Curry out here? Guys, we're getting there. All right.
And his name's Hamunka, but it sounds like he's saying Hamulka the whole time.
Yeah, I swore he was saying Homolka.
Herkimer Hamunka.
It's a mouthful.
There is no L in his name.
I also feel like that was
Hamunka.
choice. Like they're like, all right, you're gonna play Baron Silvermane, and he was like, no, no, I'm gonna play that name you just said, harmonica.
Herkimer harmonica.
And they're like, fine. We have a monkey that smokes. The kids are going to love it.
Just twirling that ring the whole time. Yeah. Oh my God. When he tells the story of being like a small boy in the Soviet library.
Yeah. Oh my God. That monkey drew the same ancient symbol that's on this ring. Tim, it's a fucking eye.
Yeah.
Like, it's the most universal symbol across all cultures.
It's literally on the back of our money.
It's like everything.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I want a prequel to this movie where he is just trying to break into the U.S. Mint because he's like, the eye! The King Solomon's diamond mine is underneath the United States of America. And they're like, oh, Homolka. He was not respected. So obviously
No. I mean, you got the sense that he had gotten a lot of people killed.
Yes. Yeah.
Sketch, how much do you think it made?
I'm willing to say it was a success. I'm willing to say it made back its money. I'm willing to say it made $80 million.
Another great guess, Sketch, but it made $152 million.
That's even
I think
better than I thought.
I think
it was gonna
squarely on the back of the marketing campaign.
Yeah.
It got people to go once. A lot of people to go once. I don't think people rewatched this.
Well, I think a lot of people thought,
I don't want my life to be meaningless.
Exactly. And how do you turn that down?
I like the Beatles. You like the Beatles. Let's go see this fucking movie.
Hey, do you see there's this new movie coming out about how they ship goods from one area to another area on big effing boats?
Sketch, that would be Cargo.
Okay, I see this.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
What is happening?
This movie...
It broke you.
No, it's making more sense now that I thought all these pieces were missing.
Sketch.
But I get it.
Long-time listeners.
Did you smell almonds, by the way? Why does this diamond mine smell like almonds?
It's all the decomposing monkey.
And burnt toast and monkeys.
Murder gorilla meat.
Yeah. Gorilla meat.
Oh my God, Sketch.
And sulfury. Is it just me or is it
It's
hot?
getting a little warm in here.
It's hot.
I'm
used to
calm
jungle
down, Al
heat.
Petrino.
Hot. I'm used to jungle heat, but it's just like this is sulfury.
Yeah.
We should keep an eye on that.
Yes, we should.
Yeah.
Should we? Does that bring us to rants and raves?
No, all important internet
scores. I'm very rusty, longtime listeners. IMDb gives this movie Congo a 5.2. Rotten Tomatoes critic score gives Cargo a 22.
Yeah, you see, you did
fan
it.
Fan score 29%.
Wow.
Very rarely do we see a fan and a critic score so well aligned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Metacritic critic score a 22. Wow. Fan score a 59. And 76% of Google reviewers like this movie. That's kind of low for Google.
That's low for Google.
Yeah.
That's low for Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the Google reviews is just this fucking movie.
Oh, this fucking movie. That's a great tagline for this movie. There are two taglines for this movie. Your life is meaningless if you don't see it.
If you don't see it.
And this fucking movie.
I gave Congo a 70.
Hey, wow! I gave it a 72.
Hey, look at that!
I was happy to see it.
It feels high.
It feels high.
Like,
hearing
right?
the quote unquote professionals.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being generous, but no, like we'll get there. But I'm not angry. I saw it.
Exactly. I had fun.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun, and it felt like. I kind of deferred to your 80s rule.
Yeah.
This to me felt like a movie that should have been made in the 1970s.
Yes, it absolutely did.
This felt like a movie that escaped. Well, I mean, it was pitched in 1979.
It makes sense. Hearing all that, it makes sense.
With all of the rewrites, it doesn't really make sense. Yeah,
you thought it would have moved forward a little bit more. Like, what were they doing if we still ended up with a movie from
Frank
70s?
Marshall, produced all of the Indiana Jones, Star Wars. He's a producer on Star Wars with Kathleen Kennedy. They were a husband and wife producing team,
wasn't
right?
Kathleen Kennedy's name on the front of this one?
Yeah. She's a producer on it.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
How do you produce this movie and wind up in charge of? I mean, it might explain a few things.
I was about to say, if you were going to finish
the
that
Star
one,
Wars prequel, not prequels, the Star Wars sequel trilogy. It explains a few things.
Yeah, like all those monkeys that are smoking on
Yeah.
the spaceships.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Now I know.
Now you know. It was this movie takes place in the Star Wars universe.
I mean, what I was really surprised about is I don't think I've ever seen those murder gorillas, #murder gorillas, show up in anything else. And for the number of those costumes,
there are a lot on screen at once.
You would think that they would have reused, like, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, like a Monster of the Week type thing somewhere.
I don't think I've ever seen them again.
Old white, gray murder gorillas.
It just it feels good saying it,
feels
doesn't
great.
It? That would have been a better name for the movie, Murder Gorilla.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you would have known better what you're getting into. Yeah. All right. So we're both in the 70s.
We're both in the 70s.
We're both like high for out of everybody.
Yeah. Longtime listeners, write in. Let us know how you would have scored Congo after watching it.
Now let's I feel now like we have to defend these 70s.
Okay,
let's start with
some raves.
Some raves.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. I've recently made you watch some B movies.
Yeah.
I love B movies, this to me is the definition of a B movie. And I talked a little about this in an earlier episode where like the classification of a B movie is like a super low budget with a not great cast. But then at somewhere along the line, B movie became a genre. Not tied to budget. Like you could write a B movie with a big budget. Like I think the 80s kind of did that to cinema. Like a lot of the like shoot 'em up action movies, like they have huge budgets and stellar cast, but they're B movies. This to me is like the quintessential written B movie.
Yeah.
It's a quick in and out. It's got an amazing cast, a fun premise. It's like I would call it neo pulp sci-fi.
Wow.
Meets like The Great White Hunter meets 21st century. So it's like that it is a genre, a not often visited genre, but like that Great White Hunter, neo sci-fi, neo pulp sci-fi, I call it. I like it. Trademark, copyright.
Murder Grills.
Murder Gorillas. Shades and Sketch 2021.
Perfect. That's a shirt. It's a big shirt. It only comes in 2XL. But
it does.
Yeah.
And it's a little bloody, and you probably don't want to wear it because it smells like gorilla and martini.
Yeah. It's got like eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
Real and hieroglyphic.
There were a lot of
eyeball things.
A lot of eyeball things in this movie.
Yep.
I feel like that must have been like a prop in 95 that was readily available.
Two themes in this movie were eyeballs and communication.
Yes.
If you needed to explain something in this movie, if it was old, it was eyeballs. If it was new, it was communication.
Yes.
It would be like if it was Marvel, then it's nanotechnology. Like, right? If it's Star Wars, it's the Force. If it's Congo, it's communication.
Or eyeballs.
Why do you need this diamond? Communication.
Yes.
Okay. How about this laser for the communication?
Now, you do your first rave.
Oh, great. I really liked where we are now. I liked the set of the Diamond Mine.
Okay.
I like the setup of it and like the lore of it. And, you know, like you said, it's like Raiders. It's going out into the jungle. It's exploration. The whole setup of, you know, they don't spend the whole movie in the Congo. They spend a lot of the movie getting to the Congo.
Right, yeah.
And that aspect of the movie I was really enjoying.
The adventure. Yeah. I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then once they got to the temple, it peppers into another thing I'm going to say later, but I liked I didn't expect that we were going to have like a history element to this. Like
exactly.
like
agree. Strong
mythological
kind of thing. And they introduce it at the beginning of the movie, but they disguise it well enough that you don't know where you're going. So that when it does show up, when they start talking about Zinj, that you're like, what? And then, you know, they go back like, you know, they disguise it well enough.
You feel kind of good because you're like, oh, I put that together.
Yeah.
And then, the movie like led you to it, but it hit it well enough that you're like, I got there on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did that well.
I agree.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I did look. I was communication lasers. I was like,
communication lasers.
I did look. So NASA is just now launching
the Congo campaign.
Sure, I forget what they call it, but they're now doing the real science of using lasers to carry communication signals. So all terrestrial based communication is based around radio wave. Yeah. We are now about to embark on the laser age of communication.
We call this the murder gorilla age of communication.
Yes, it's powered by murder gorilla meat. Fortunately, there is a lot of plentiful
all over
strewn around, as plentiful as the diamond.
Some of it's sizzling just on the stone.
We're in a diamond mine sketch.
Yeah, what do you think of it shoving in my pockets? It's not all.
That makes sense.
It's not all gorilla giblets.
Is it cursed?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's take some of these diamonds.
These gorillas made out just fine.
Yeah. But we are about to embark on the laser age of communication, and NASA's plan is to. There's no lag. It's instantaneous. Yeah. It's communication at the speed of light, and they will be able to beam a communication signal anywhere in the known universe. We'll be able to have Wi-Fi on the moon.
Perfect.
And this is how they're going to use telemetry data for all of the ongoing space program.
Yeah.
For communication, for GPS, all of the equipment will be able to be housed on Earth, but we'll be able to beam the signal to the moon, Mars, etc., wherever.
I'm just thinking how frustrating it's going to be to get Comcast up to the moon once your Wi-Fi goes down.
Can you imagine? Well, the point is, it won't go down.
I hope not. But they're going to figure out a way to put it down.
I mean, I don't want to. I'm dangerously close to ranting here.
Oh no,
I'm not.
Don't rant. Yeah. We're in the raves. We're defending our
70s. The cast, particularly Ernie Hudson.
Oh yeah,
who is just fucking fantastic. I mean, well done script for like turning the concept of the great white hunter. When Ernie Hudson shows up and like, why are they laughing? I just told them, I told them I'm in charge. Why are they laughing? Because I'm black. Wow.
I'll be your great white hunter for this.
Exactly.
Expedition. Except for, of course, that I'm black.
And your accent right now is about as good as his was. But
yeah, I was doing him doing something.
I could tell. This movie was like, Ernie Hudson is an actor that can like do so much with so little on the page. I fucking love Ernie Hudson. And like when I was a child, Ghostbusters, like Venkman, I think everybody gravitates to like Bill Murray because he's Bill Murray, but like Ernie Hudson does so much more in that movie with less, and he just has a gravitas and a confidence.
Well, I think there was something we talked about when we talked about Ghostbusters, was that like Ernie Hudson is the us.
Exactly.
He's the everyman. He's the rational person being like, I'm coming in.
But I mean, just
you crazy people here.
And again, it's kind of like, I'm going to keep you crazy people alive because none of you will last a minute here.
Yeah, I'm going to ground you.
But there's something about like him as an actor, like his presence. He is like, he's suave, he's fast. You know, you said this. He's fast talking, but he can back it up.
Yeah.
And he's a better Lando.
Yeah, he's a better Lando. He's Lando 2.0. That's exactly what I thought.
I love that. Lando 2.0. And
because
he's Han and Lando together.
He has the, what I say to you, he has the smooth talking suaveness to get himself out of like 9 out of 10 problems.
Right.
But he's also got the skill.
Right.
To get himself out of that last problem that he can't talk himself out of.
And he was just so fantastic. I wanted more of that character.
Oh yeah.
I want that character to come back in something.
I'll say a small rave of mine is I'm raving that he lived. I would have been pissed if they
I would
killed
have been
him.
So pissed off if he died.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
yes.
Almost everyone does.
I cheered at the end of the movie when he made it. I did not remember if he made it or I was like, yes, he's in that hot air balloon. Yes, they get into a hot air balloon.
It's not even Wizard of Oz thing in the movie.
Wizard of Oz style, and they float away.
Yep. And that's literally the end.
That is literally the end of the movie. Credits roll.
And
hot air balloon.
And I know you're asking yourself. You're saying, well, wait, Shades. Did they get in the hot air balloon before or after they reversed the trajectory of the laser to destroy the satellite? After. Right after that. Yeah.
No, wait. They did that from the. No, right after that.
They did it from the ground, and then they get in the hot air balloon.
That is, I mean, I'm holding it in. I'm dangerously close to ranting sketch.
Yeah.
But I will just say Tim Curry is just fantastic. Again, I would watch him do this character forever. He does not make it out. He is murdered violently. He stuffs all the diamonds in his pocket. He had
to have been. You knew his character. Yeah. He was the character that's going to get ripped apart by murder gorillas. He's going to put the murder in murder gorillas. And
hashtag murder gorilla.
He got a little bit of a happy ending because he got to feel right.
Yeah.
The whole world had been telling him that this place didn't exist, and he found it.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Every time he says
the tally in the wind,
I want to punch him in the face. I don't know why. Like, that's the one thing I don't like in that accent is when he says zinj. He's like, yeah, zinj. Shut up.
It was a choice.
It was. That accent. And I'll just
But then it's kind of downhill from there for his character.
Oh, yeah. He has no point.
He had a peak. Hey, I'm right.
Once it's real, he's got nothing else. Yep. He's got to go.
Yep.
And Laura Linney, I will just say, it was fantastic. She's a fixer for this telecom company, but she's a former CIA operative.
Yeah.
And she was fantastic, and I totally believed it. And she was wonderful, and she was tough and capable, and like, okay. Like, I like.
She was engaged to Bruce Campbell, who was the son of the communication president.
Yeah.
It was a tangled web.
It was. I like that. She did the classic. I'm warning you. If it I'll make you sorry.
She said that at the beginning.
Yep, and then
she followed through.
She followed through with it, and it's like the classic white hat. Like, if you do this, I'll make you sorry that you did this. Mm-hmm. And it worked. It was well executed.
He called her bluff.
Yep, and
it wasn't a bluff.
It was not a bluff.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the performance. And Delroy Lindo. I love Delroy Lindo as an actor.
That's Sesame Cakes?
That is the corrupt Ugandan soldier that they have to pay off. He's there for like 30 seconds in the movie, but I remembered that exchange for 25 years. I couldn't tell you anything else about the movie, but I remembered that scene.
Yeah,
seared into my brain. Couldn't tell you anything else about the movie. I didn't remember that King Solomon's mines factored into this, but I remembered Mr. Homolka stopped eating my sesame cake.
It doesn't get better than
Tim
that.
Curry spitting it out.
He spits it out.
He does. Yep.
He listens.
He does. Well executed. Okay.
Is it my rave?
It's your rave.
Okay. The last half hour of the movie is so fun if you're okay just letting go of everything. Okay? So if you're like
what does that mean?
Because I was sitting there watching this and I was giddy. I was giddy with the next thing. Oh my God, they found the diamonds. Oh my God, murder gorillas. They're killing everybody. Oh my God, she's got the laser. No, she's not going to shoot the laser at the gorilla. Oh my God, she's shooting the laser. And when she shoots the laser, it's not like
murder gorillas
Star Wars blaster laser. It's like scissors through wrapping paper.
Yeah.
Just so satisfying, right? There's through gorilla flesh and sinew and just arms. Torsos
they burst into flame
all over the place.
Yeah.
And you think, wow, you're not going to top that. Then, boom, volcano, lava, murder gorillas jumping into the lava.
Okay.
I was like,
wait, okay.
Whoa. At this point.
Why were they jumping into the lava?
because
what
they were like, the diamonds are destroyed. There's nothing for us to do anymore.
Our tortured existence is at an end.
When we got to that point in the movie, I was like, oh,
sure.
You know what? I have permission to not take this seriously and to just like, it was almost like I was daring the movie. Like, oh, I see your murder gorillas. Now what are you gonna do now? Oh, diamond powered laser cutter. Wow, you took it.
You did it.
And then, wow, lava.
I mean, they clearly had no out or conclusion to this move, and they were like, volcano, and they all jump into the volcano.
Because kind of like, up until this point, people have died. The two people that have died on screen have died of fright, which is not the most compelling thing to watch, of like, oh, they're so scared they drop dead.
I'm so close to ranting. At the mere mention of what Richard
sees the gorilla.
Sees Amy.
Yeah.
And Laura Linney's like, Richard, and he dies of fright looking at Amy.
Yeah. So I'm like at that level, like I'm going through the movie at that level. And then all of a sudden we're slicing gorillas up. Like this is Mos Eisley Cantina, and they just threatened young Luke Skywalker, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna have fun with this. And the last half hour is just that. It's just like turret-mounted pistols just firing into the jungle. And I was like, okay, movie, you're not taking it seriously anymore.
Long-time listeners are like,
I'm not taking it.
What the fuck? Long-time listeners, pause the episode right now. Go fast forward through the whole movie that we've gotten to this part, to when they set up camp.
Yeah.
Watch the movie from they've set up camp through to the end of the movie. Come back and unpause the episode.
And if you're like lost, you're not that lost.
You're not that lost.
There's not much.
There's not much else going on. You didn't miss much.
Listen, I was right there with you, because you're going to just say to yourself, where are all the hand drums? Where are all these hand drums? I was promised hand drums.
Oh my God. Long-time listeners, I'm really worried about sketch. Those are bongos.
With a B.
We're talking about the movie
Congo.
Okay. So not to be confused with congas.
Right. We already cleared that up. Bongos.
Congo.
Okay. Not on a ship. Not cargo. Ringo Starr, not in this movie.
Not in this movie.
Okay. It's starting to make more sense now.
Long-time listeners, if you hear me say Winnebago in distress, call for help.
I've been sign languaging this whole movie for... This is a podcast. What are they going to check?
Oh, my goodness.
In solidarity with Amy.
Winnebago!
Amy... It deciphers
Amy, good gorilla.
One's mother.
Amy, mother.
Raindrop drink. I think she calls martinis.
Raindrop drink.
And a cigarette. I think they just give her the cigarette. I don't think
cigarette.
And then they drug her.
Oh, gorilla sedatives.
I like to think that the filmmakers were like,
give me some of those gorilla sedatives.
Or even the person who was
in the gorilla suit.
She was like, I'm not doing this today. And they're like, fine, we'll just Amy sedated today.
Yeah.
Like, we'll give her a banana with a what do they call it? Monkey Prozac or something like that.
Monkey Prozac.
And then she was just dead to the world.
Yeah.
Which you're like, why don't you just do that the whole time?
Right.
Amy's going to be such a problem. Anywho, that's not even a big question. It just came to me.
I have one final rave that's very quickly going to turn into a rant.
Oh, I love these.
Do you have any more raves?
Nope.
Okay.
So give it a 70.
Amy is the key to Zinj.
Yeah.
It's poorly executed, but a great concept.
Oh, yeah, I like the concept, but...
And they teach a gorilla to talk.
Yeah.
And it is irrelevant. 100% irrelevant.
Yeah.
To the
Absolutely.
fact that Amy can speak
means nothing.
And she doesn't even use the apparatus for like the whole movie after they introduce it. And then randomly, I don't know the actor's name. I just know that he played a character, Nip Tuck. So I'm just going to call him Nip Tuck. Nip Tuck's like, oh, you want your glove back so you can talk?
Is this the main guy? The main primatologist?
Yeah, him.
Okay.
And there's another primatologist who gets he makes it through the whole movie, and then he gets murdered.
Yeah.
They rip his eye out, too.
I have something to say about the primatologist.
Oh, because they, like, worship the eyes.
Yeah, they're all about eyes. They're all about taking eyes out.
That literally just made sense to me.
But it's flimsy.
Irrelevant to the story. Is your pitch, please?
No, this is
flimsy.
not my pitch.
Okay, but I was going to say...
I do have pitch, please, guys. Stay tuned. But it's not now.
It was such an easy thing to like. It's breaking my brain. Amy can talk. Like her sign language is used by this computer in.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, guys, she has like a Nintendo Power Glove that she wears,
and when she signs,
it reads the movements, and she's got a backpack with a speaker on it, and it tells it
what she's saying.
And it's just words. It's not like sentences.
We've already got the setup of this story, and if you're kind of loosely following along, you can piece together that Amy's her pod was murdered by the murder gorillas. She had been to Zinj as a gorilla baby.
Yeah, little gorilla-ing.
A gorilla-ing. I like that.
Yep.
And her pod was murdered. She's rescued, winds up in Berkeley. They teach her how to speak with her sign language glove.
First, they teach her sign language.
Then they put the robot
thing on her that talks for her.
But all she had to do was start talking about the lost city and the gorillas. And then it would have made sense why, like, the setup of the movie then makes sense.
Yeah, she should have been saying a word, like, over and over.
Yes.
And, like, at that podium, like, you know, she's saying all the things, and everyone's like, ooh, wow. Yeah. And then she starts saying something nonsensical over and over. Whatever. Banana chips.
Sure.
And the main guy's like, whoa. And people start losing interest in her. Right. But Tim Curry's like did that
banana chip?
And he pulls out a ring. It's got a fucking banana chip on it. And he's like, oh, that's my monkey.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have made sense.
We just fixed the movie.
Yes.
The whole movie
would have made so much more sense. Yeah. But they never do that.
They never do it.
Or whatever she's saying, like the things that she's saying don't make sense to any, but only Homolka can decode them. Like only he understands what the nonsense that she's signing is. Yeah. Because he's got the book in anyway. Her signing is irrelevant to the movie, and it's the first thing we're introduced to. And she has nightmares, but she never says what the nightmares are about.
It takes me...
Oh, I think she wants to go home. She's homesick. Where did you get that from, Nick Tuck?
The only place she doesn't want to go is there, because her whole family was murdered.
Her whole family was murdered. That's the last place she wants to go. You dumb motherfucker.
She's talking about it because she's traumatized, and she's having nightmares about it every night. And this guy's like, let's bring her there.
She wants to go home.
Yeah, she's Mrs. Home.
You stupid fucking human.
She's playing video games. She doesn't want to go home.
She's drinking martinis. Yeah, there are no martinis in the jungle.
And she's going to have to smoke lights out there. She doesn't have her unfiltered
She's going to have to roll her own.
Yeah. Anywho, I digress.
Oh, my God.
Let me defend one thing about Amy, though.
Okay.
Can I defend one thing about Amy?
Sure.
Because I actually looked this up because I was like, who's doing this? Who's
in the suit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was, and I wrote it down. Just got to find it. It's in my notes. Lola No.
Okay.
She was the actor inside Amy.
Yeah.
And I was like, the most I ever believed Amy as a character was when Amy was just like
being a gorilla
and doing things.
Oh, great.
When it was like a close up of her face, animatronics aren't really there yet.
Right.
When she's fucking smoking a cigarette and stuff like that, I'm like, this is like comic relief. Like, how much do you care about this monkey if you're letting it smoke?
Right.
Guys, don't let your monkey smoke.
Don't let your gorilla smoke. Don't feed your gorilla martinis or gorilla Prozac.
I feel like Lola did her gorilla research.
I agree.
To be like,
maybe that was the person that they like kidnapped and brought to LA to be Amy.
Maybe
in that story that they were telling.
Maybe. But she got it.
Yeah.
She was.
You believed that Amy was a real gorilla. The way that Amy moved.
When she was moving around.
Right.
Doing stuff.
Yeah.
When she was talking, not so much.
When I learned, again, I had seen this on TV, but when I learned that it was not a real gorilla or animatronic, that it was a person in a suit, I was like, oh shit. And then rewatching it, I was like, oh shit. That's a human in a gorilla suit. And that's a really good gorilla suit. And yeah, I believe that's a gorilla.
I like to think
I've seen gorillas at the National Zoo. That's kind of how they move.
At some point in 1995, after this movie had been in theaters for a little bit of time, at a very quiet showing of it in the back of the theater in a trench coat was Michael Crichton watching the movie going, I can't believe they fucking got a real gorilla. And then he saw the credits and was like, oh, okay. Lola No.
I made the right decision.
I guess I just need to meet Lola No.
Yeah.
Because she knows gorillas.
There you go.
Don't you just see that Michael Crichton in a trench coat in the back of a thing, just irate that there's a real monkey in this movie? Oh my God, I can't believe, I bet they fucking assholes. I bet they got to pat that gorilla and they cut me out of those assholes.
Michael Crichton, climate denier. Ugh.
I don't know that.
How the mighty have fallen.
I didn't even know he was still doing stuff.
Oh, he's dead. He died in 2008.
That makes sense then why I didn't know he was still doing
he died in 2008, but they're still posthumously releasing his books.
Oh.
They have other people like finishing his books and like making sequels.
This is 2021. We don't make new things.
We don't, yeah.
We don't.
We don't.
Guns Akimbo was the last new thing that was ever going to be made. And now we are just going to be cycling through the last 100 years of media on a constant cycle until the murder gorillas get us.
Hashtag murder gorillas.
Natural
selection.
As natural selection always intended.
Oh my God. So that was my last rave first rant.
Last rave first rant. I like that. Okay. So I get a rant?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, my overarching rant is that this movie feels much older than it should. And there's lots of things going on in this movie that make it feel older than it really should. But one of them is the acting of the main guy.
Oh, he's terrible.
Primatologist.
He's terrible.
There is no range. Peter, I think his name is
Peter. Yes, you are correct. I've got a leech on my dick.
He did get a leech on his dick, didn't he? Yeah, and he's fine with it. Like he's like, hey, there's a leech on my dick.
There's something on my. It's a leech. Burn it off.
He has no charm. He has no charisma. I mean, especially you put him next to Ernie Hudson. I mean, no one has charisma next to Ernie Hudson's character. But
Ernie Hudson acts circles around. I mean, he is just devouring the scenery in this movie.
You go to where it really stood out to me, which was an odd place for it to really stand out to me, was when they go to the tribe, like the ghost.
Yeah, the ghost tribe.
Yep. And they're all like chanting around they think this body's dead and they're trying to get the soul back. And it's like, it's unnerving because it's it's like beating your soul. Like you're feeling it in your chest, these chants. And everyone is like, oh shit. And Peter's like, just watch it. And I'm like, Peter, you're on camera. Like,
I believe in science.
Like, yes, you don't have a line right now, but you're still on a camera.
Not showing the scenery. Not showing the scenery.
Every step of the way, he was so bleh. Like,
if you I recognized him immediately. I was like, oh, he was in a show that like ran forever, and I was like, oh, and I went and looked it up. Nip Tuck. I don't remember I didn't watch it. I remember it was on when we were in college and people were obsessed with it. But I remember I saw like an episode of the show and he was so flat and so uninteresting.
Oh, okay, so he never.
I never felt another. Like, I don't understand how he got this part.
Yeah,
I don't understand how he got that part.
Yeah, how did he get this part? I mean,
I don't get it. The movie hangs on him.
The movie hangs on him, and he's so nothing. And he's an idiot.
They should have hung the movie on Ernie Hudson.
He's an idiot.
He really is.
The plane's about to go down. Everyone's putting on parachutes. Why are they putting on parachutes? Figure it out.
You're welcome to stay on the plane, but the pilots have already left.
Yeah, that was great. Nothing. You got nothing out of Peter.
You need to give me a push.
Ever. It was very upsetting. Yeah, and then he skydives, presumably for the first time ever.
Perfectly.
After
he lands perfectly.
After his plane's been shot at, it's about to explode. His monkey is drugged and clinging to Ernie Hudson.
Yeah.
Like, this is supposed to be the thing he loves more than like anything else. And now he's like defenseless in the jungle. And he's just like, okay, what's next? What's the next scene? Let's go. Let's move to the next scene. Oh,
I mean,
I was like mad all the time.
I
whenever
wrote
it's him.
somewhere in here like, is he the son of a producer on this movie?
Yeah, yeah, I feel like that.
Did
you feel like that?
Big.
It's probably my biggest rant.
And dude, if you're listening, I'm sure maybe you're like the nicest guy in the world, and we've been horribly unfair to you, but I don't feel like we were that unfair to you.
No, we're judging what we saw
Your
on the screen,
was subpar,
and it was
objectively
blah.
Bad.
But I do have a pitch, please.
To
Fix him. Yeah.
Okay, this is a pitch, please.
All right, you keep the movie entirely as it is.
Well, okay.
All the way.
I don't know if I'm with you.
Credits roll, and then we get an after credit scene, right?
Okay.
And inside, like a college president's office, right?
Yeah.
You get his friend Richard, the one who was killed.
I don't remember what his name is. I don't think they ever say his name.
I looked it up on IMDb.
Oh, his name is Richard.
Richard. And
wait, there are two characters who are murdered. The other guy that was murdered
named Richard. This, because I looked up the actor.
There are two Richards.
Well, I know this guy was named Richard.
Okay.
And they and you know, he's like bandaged up and stuff. Like, he survived.
Oh, shit.
And the president's like, well, your plan to release the gorilla was mildly successful, although it met some setbacks. But the board is in agreement. Your project to train a shaved gorilla to release another gorilla worked flawlessly. And then you, the viewer, are like, Peter was a gorilla. Oh, that's why you didn't get what was going on. He's got gorilla problems. He doesn't get human problems.
He's a gorilla.
And that fixes Peter completely.
That's why Amy keeps saying that she's
the mom. If you don't give me a scene in this movie in which it's explained that Peter is actually a shaved gorilla trained to release another gorilla into the wild, then Peter doesn't work. Okay? That's what you need to fix
Winnebago. Winnebago.
That's how you fix the movie.
Winnebago.
I'm telling you. It would have, if I had gotten that scene, I would have been like, Peter is forgivable now. Now that I can watch this again and be like, now look, he was a monkey. He's laughing at that hippo attack. Yeah, because he's a monkey. He's a gorilla. I get it.
I have like 7 rants. I'm gonna condense a lot of them.
Sure.
Just because I could dunk on this movie forever, but first and foremost, the first thing I wrote down, and I kept like screaming at the movie. It's the very first note. They took JanSport backpacks to the Congo. Fucking like the backpacks that we wore in 3rd grade. Who outfitted this excursion? Fucking JanSport backpacks. What is happening? I could not get past it. What the fuck? One character has a fucking JanSport fanny pack. It was
wow. Okay.
I lost my mind.
Yeah, I remember you texting me
my mind
about this, and I didn't know what a JanSport backpack was, but I was like, Jade's very passionate about this.
Like, so... I have a JanSport backpack in the next room that I could go get, but that's won't.
You're all ready for the Congo.
I'm ready for the Congo. Like, oh my God, Sketch. They're the worst backpacks.
Yeah.
They're the worst fucking backpacks. They're like those non-lifetime warranty equivalent of the LL Bean backpacks. And like the shoulder strap rips off immediately, but you send it back to LL Bean and it's fine. But JanSport doesn't have a lifetime warranty, and the shoulder strap always fucking rips off and the zipper always breaks. Longtime listeners, you know I'm right. You had a JanSport backpack in 3rd grade and it kept bursting open at the seams. I'm still losing my mind.
No, we can tell
over this.
Or we can all tell.
Sketch.
Winnebago.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have your passion on this one. I didn't know what a JanSport backpack is. I think I understand now what it is. Yeah, they were ill-equipped for this expedition. They didn't even get the hot air balloon that they needed.
They didn't.
Thank goodness the other plane got
they
shot
sent
down.
a second expedition that was shot down out of the sky, killing everybody, but somehow the balloon survived.
Balloon without a hole. Great. But yeah, JanSport backpack. F you. Did you think this was going to be the episode where we came out hard on JanSport backpacks? Now you know.
And longtime listeners, you know, at the bottom of a closet in your parents' house somewhere is a JanSport backpack that's like held together with duct tape and chewing gum.
Wow.
You know I'm right.
Must be some major brand loyalty.
It is so, I mean, was JanSport a sponsor on the movie? They had to have been, right?
Yeah, it was JanSport, LensCrafters, and Communication. Those are the three.
But you could have gone to like any Army. It's 1995. They still have like leftover Vietnam surplus at this point. They could have like, it's such a small, effortless, does not bump your budget up at all to get like an adventure pack.
Hell, wouldn't you have those like in the prop department?
That's what I mean.
Studio, like
you would think.
Yeah.
Fucking like every time someone opens their backpack, I keep expecting like that like history book that we all had to come out of it, and like a Trapper Keeper.
Oh, that would be so dark, because then I'd have a sketchy theory about like this field trip gone awry, and there's like a thermos, like the Street Sharks thermos that just tumbles out, and an eye, because there has to be an eye.
There has to be an eye.
There has to be an eye.
Oh, the JanSport backpacks! It's my very first note. They took JanSport backpacks to the depths of the African Congo.
Wow. Yeah, unforgivable.
It broke me.
I'm
it was
surprised
so,
you gave it a 70.
Listen, I review cartoons on the internet for a living.
Bit to talk about these JanSports.
I'm a professional sketch. I can put aside my biases, but you know, a rant is anything that takes us out of the movie.
That took you out.
It took me out hard.
Leaps and bounds.
It hit me like a crazy person just like driving on the sidewalks in GTA.
Yeah.
It just took me right off my feet.
Filmmakers, take note. You better get your backpacks right. Or we're coming hard.
But you know what it did? It like so articulated for me that they were just like tramping around on some leftover back lot.
Oh yeah, they weren't.
You know what I mean? There was no effort to suspend disbelief.
No.
Where at the same time, like this is another rant. Like they also had they're like the communications guy is like losing his mind over the diamonds.
Yeah.
But the perimeter defense auto machine gun laser grid thing was like
from communications.
From communications. Was so much more advanced than any. It's basically Skynet.
Yeah. No, they were like, we need these diamonds for our communications. Pack up all of the motion sensor pistol turrets that we have in the communications department and go down to the Congo with this big bag of money.
When they set up camp and they're like, this a laser activated grid, and then the turrets start spinning. I'm like, I'm out. Belief.
And then, see, that's for me when I started having fun.
Right.
Because that's when I was like,
this is
okay.
Insane.
We're just doing anything.
This is insane. But at the same time, they're wearing fucking JanSport fanny packs sketch.
No, I know.
It is insane that they could like spend money on those turret things.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're like carrying those turret things in like the backpacks that we like carried our Trapper Keepers in.
Yeah.
It is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It's insane.
My Trapper Keeper had a skateboarder on it. Never turned into the skateboarding prodigy my parents wanted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Long-time listeners, right into the show. What didn't you turn into that your parents wanted?
When did your JanSport fail you?
Seriously.
All right, JanSport. Coming out hard. Are they still in business?
Maybe.
Because we might have just lost their spot.
Probably.
Outfitting 90 schools and Congo expeditions.
Yeah, if they're still around.
Cheap nylon.
35. You know what? Sketch. I typed in JanSport. This is what came up. And This is legitimately what walked by on screen.
Wow.
That is the backpack that they're carrying.
There you go.
And it's
not much.
It's just as egregious now.
It's not jungle ready.
No.
It's egregious. It's terrible. Well, I'm sorry. You've been Jansported. Jansporting. Yeah. It's tough. I honestly can't dock it for it because I didn't notice it. But I didn't have a Jansport. Maybe if they walked by with an LL Bean, I would have been like, what? They didn't monogram their initials on it.
Yeah. Like that's what those backpacks were for. They were not for like
they were not
or going up the side of they were not expedition ready.
No, those belonged in a movie. If they're going to be in a jungle, they're in a movie where a plane has gone down and the survivors were not expecting to be in the jungle.
Sure.
And they're traipsing through it with their Jansport backpacks.
But I mean, this is also after Cypher has outfitted them with all of the gear that they need. Like I just don't. You're telling me like you're a fixer for expeditions into the Congo and this is the shit you gave them? I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. They got their little
belief
satellite phones
suspended.
Yeah. No. I hear you. I hear you.
Let's move on.
Let's move.
I'm coming for you, Jansport.
Yeah. The gauntlet's been thrown. Jansport. I can already feel them. They're getting their lawyers on the line right now. Like you can see all the Jansport lawyers.
They're getting their lawyers on the phone, but then as I was ranting, they're like, "Oh shit, there is duct tape on our backpack, and that zipper is broken." All right,
my phone was in my Jansport backpack,
and now it's on the floor. And the screen's cracked.
Gosh,
and they're like, "God damn it, nothing he said is false.
Yeah,
we can't sue him.
Yeah,
he hasn't said anything inaccurate yet.
Yeah, never." Never once.
In the whole rant.
No. All right. This took me right out.
Okay.
By the end of the movie, the fact that you haven't shown me a single piece from a Dutch expressionist when you've deposited from the very beginning that I'm going to see paintings from a beloved artist blows me away.
I don't know where we're Sketch, I think you're depositing that this is a movie about the painter Van Gogh?
Wasn't this a biopic about Ringo and Van Gogh?
No. Also, not how you spell Van Gogh.
No, but I was just doing it to
I see how you got there.
It's also, I mean, if I'm going to be the one to nitpick, it's Van Gogh, but I was making a joke, a jest.
Neither here nor there.
No, my real rant is I hated the end of the movie that they throw the diamond away. Like I was so mad that they throw away the diamond.
I mean,
just don't give it to the guy.
With you, like you give it to Ernie Hudson. You give it to Ernie Hudson.
Give it to Ernie Hudson.
Or like they've just lost their
everything.
They're talking gorilla and all of the technology that goes like,
everything.
Hey, Berkeley, I realize like we've lost all this shit, but here's this priceless diamond.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been to King Solomon's mines. Let's send another expedition there and make bank.
I was
don't fire me because I know the location of King Solomon's mines.
I was so mad at the end of the movie when she was like, okay, first, you're justified. He didn't care. We're talking about the dad here. He didn't care about getting his son back.
He just wanted the diamond. Bruce Campbell.
You still could have
dead Bruce Campbell in the cave.
Yeah, dead Bruce Campbell. That
was, I mean, that was clearly like a wax mannequin. But it was fantastic.
Still would have won, and you still would have gotten your just desserts if you just didn't give the diamond to the president. Yeah. You gave it to Ernie Hudson is still my number one contender.
Ernie Hudson deserving of it.
You didn't live throughout this whole adventure without
they
him.
Would have
and
died.
Peter got his ending. He released Amy to the wild.
Right.
And I forget her character's name, but Laura Linney's character gets her ending kind of, she finds Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
So she succeeds in that, like,
yeah.
it's not a happy ending, but
Monroe
she has
Kelly gets nothing.
Monroe Kelly gets nothing.
He saved everybody. Multiple. When they're like, they shoot heat-seeking missiles at the plane, and he's over here, like Laura Linney and Ernie Hudson are over here firing flares out of the side.
That was Laura Linney's idea, and then Ernie Hudson was like, "That's a fucking good idea."
That's a good idea. Yep.
And then so he's firing them too.
You're right. That was Laura Linney's idea.
But still, like I said, everyone out of who lives, out of who survives, everyone finishes their story except for Monroe.
He has no resolution.
And so you give him the diamond.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Retire.
For saving our ass. Yeah.
You can retire.
You can retire. You don't have to do this anymore. Yeah. Oh, I was so mad. I was like, that is the laziest written thing. And well, there was a lot of lazy written things in this, but
Jansport backpacks.
For it to be the last thing that we see,
and then they float away to Oz.
Oh,
is this a sequel to The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, it is. Not a lot of people know that.
Oh,
but,
I know we're not at big questions.
Yeah, no, this leads directly into Oz. This takes place actually between The Wizard of Oz
and Return to Oz.
And then there's this really weird like gray area before the HBO show Oz starts, and
which Ernie Hudson is in.
This is right in the middle of that.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, so Ernie Hudson is playing Monroe Kelly in Oz?
Yeah. Yes.
Did not know that.
This is all part of the Oz quadrilogy.
I'm going to condense a bunch of raves here.
Oz Murder Gorillas.
This movie does not understand lasers.
Nope.
Communication satellites.
No, they don't get communication.
Continents. No. And its depiction of Uganda is criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, it does not understand that Africa is a continent and not a country.
When they land, it just says Central Africa.
Central Africa. But then they go to Uganda and they just it is just the president's just been murdered. Or they blew up his car and unfortunately he wasn't in it. He wasn't in it, and now he's going to murder everybody.
That's what they said. Unfortunately, he wasn't in it.
But like, can you first of all, the response to blowing up the president's car, 100% justified. Like, if someone sneezes near the White House.
Oh, yeah, no, it starts like a battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Africa. They're so uncivilized. It is criminal. They don't understand how lasers work.
No.
You cannot slice things in half with a laser. Lasers are not in our like visible spectrum of light in the first place.
I will say they did in the camp. They put on those UV lights.
They put on the UV lights so they could see the laser grid.
There, but when she sliced in gorillas, you can see those lasers.
Guys,
we would have been lost if gorillas just started dismembering all over the place.
I mean, the turret still could have like turned and shot at them.
I'm talking about when Laura Linney is slicing them up with her simian
I think that would have been like even better if there was like no beam.
Oh, would have looked cooler to us, but I don't think the movie execs they wanted those laser beams. The kids want to see the lasers. They want to see the monkey smoking. They want to see the lasers like the Star Wars.
Freehand shoots from the hip a satellite out of space.
I thought she tracked it on the computer.
Just like holds it in her hand. Like,
I thought she put on a little turret and it like and just like she backwards, whatever you call that. Like she reverses the polarity, whatever. And it
not how lasers work.
Zoops up to the space and then she's like, boop.
Sure, but she just like types it in.
Which also there's comeuppance for the president too. Like keep the diamond. You blew up his satellite and you're not giving him the diamond. You're done.
That is not how this movie doesn't understand anything.
No.
It doesn't understand anything.
Well, when your marketing department says if people don't see this, their lives are worthless.
Their lives are meaningless.
They don't have to worry that much about sense, I guess.
But
yeah, you watch it and you're like, like you can watch Jurassic Park these days, and yeah, we're gonna keep making that comparison. What? And you could be like, okay, DNA sequencing, genetics, okay, I'm following, even if this is a little hokey for Hollywood, it's grounded in some reality. You watch this and you're like, this is science fiction minus the science.
Right.
This is like fiction.
Their communication technology that they were using in the movie still far rivals like what we have today.
Oh yeah, she was calling up her little perfectly clear camera phone
That she
all over
could
the place.
remote control.
Yep.
And like pivot and turn and like LiDAR map.
Yeah, she was. They got it under control in '95.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
Just sell that
Imagine
technology.
how good it would have been with diamonds. Just imagine.
And again, it's so poorly constructed. It's just like, I love that you were like, yes.
Yeah,
I'm just like, why?
I was like, oh, the movie's done taking itself seriously. I don't have to either. You know, like it was like,
I like that
right.
it was permission for you.
Yeah, it was permission for me. It was like, oh, you guys stop trying. Okay, I'm gonna stop trying to find good in this, and I'm just gonna have fun. Woo!
I had the opposite reaction.
And monkeys like cannonballing into lava. How do you not squeal with glee when murder gorillas are cannonballing into flowing lava? Like,
I agree.
I was like, this is crazy.
I have some big questions about those murder gorillas.
All right, are you ready for big questions?
I condensed a lot of rants.
Would you say this movie is equivalent to a JanSport backpack because of how poorly constructed
Yes.
it was?
Yes, it is.
Maybe that's why they put it in there.
Maybe that's
a
why.
Subtle nod.
It is entirely possible.
And they were like, some guy one day is gonna get this. And he's gonna love us for it. And now here you are, just like, ah! And they're like, oh no, it backfired.
I mean, it is
egregious.
It is egregious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fucking JanSport.
Yeah. And for me, it's Save the Diamond. That's like that's my big
Save
one.
the Diamond.
Save the Diamond. Ugh, so petty throwing it away.
Sketch. What's your first BQ? I'll try to give you a big A.
Okay. Let's just say you're a primatologist. Primatologist, right? And you have this gorilla that you love.
Yes.
And you're going to release it into the wild because you think that's what it wants and you love it, right?
Okay.
If you've been smart enough to get a primatology degree, wouldn't you think to make sure the monkey can communicate with actual gorillas before releasing it into the wild?
That is a great point.
Amy only uses sign language to the gorillas.
Right.
Wild gorillas.
Yeah, and the gorillas are like...
And Peter's like...
Fuck you.
This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Like, Peter's like...
Other gorillas to use sign language.
Peter's like, we're going to know what all the gorillas think. Because Amy can talk to us so she can decipher their sign language. And no one ever tapped him on the shoulder like, Peter.
Amy doesn't know she's a gorilla.
Gorillas don't speak sign language natively. Right. That's not gorilla language. Okay? So my question...
I have no answer to that.
The only answer is that he himself is a gorilla.
A shaped gorilla.
And Richard is really the mastermind behind all this.
That makes sense. No, what is your actual question?
No, that was my
answer.
I
have no answer.
Because he's flummoxed when she turns around and it's like, they didn't talk to me.
Amy,
and Peter's like,
good gorilla.
I don't know why they didn't talk to you, Amy.
I don't know why they don't like you.
I could clearly read your sign language.
Also, he never signs to Amy. He just talks to her.
Yeah, she understands human speech.
She understands
English. And
she just has to sign.
And she has to sign with one hand.
Right.
Which
not how sign language works.
Anyway, we're not there.
The movie does not understand anything.
And then she meets real monkeys, real gorillas, and understandably,
right,
they don't speak the sign language. And that's it. Hard stop to the scientific expedition. Oh, shit.
But, I mean, that is the end of the expedition. Yeah. Like, it's all about Zinj at that point.
We didn't think of this.
This movie. Guys,
they should revoke his primatologist degree.
This movie is insane. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. I guess the big question is, does this movie deposit this notion that like sign language is just gorillas' natural language?
It's just how they communicate.
And I think the answer is no. That's the answer to the big question.
And then the gorillas do accept her, and
they do accept her. I guess they just give her a knowing look.
No, she becomes like the mate to the head gorilla.
Well, because she saves Peter. She saves the day. Kinda.
She fights one of them.
Yeah, she fights
murder
she
gorillas.
Keeps one of them from tearing. I mean, she doesn't save a lot of people, but she saves Peter.
She saves Peter.
Peter's her baby.
Yeah.
He's a gorilla. He's shaped
Shaped gorilla. It makes sense now.
Oh my god. Is she actually Amy's baby? Like actual. Oh, this is getting deeper.
Is Peter actually Amy's child? Maybe.
And then once he survives the volcano, she goes back to her family because she's like,
"You're okay now.
You're okay now." And you know what? You've been so conditioned
You've
by
got
these humans.
sport. You're going to be okay.
That you can't live with us. You can't live with us gorillas because you, Peter, don't know sign language, and you won't know what we're all saying to each other. So you have to go back. Bye. Get on your balloon. Bye-bye. Oh, God. That almost sounded like I said baboon. But there are no baboons.
There are no baboons.
All right. You got a big question?
I do. How the fuck did the murder gorillas survive X number of years in the city of Zinj? What did they eat? Why are they still protecting the diamonds? Like they just murder anybody that comes into their city.
Yeah. They're the gorilla equivalent of murder hornets.
They are. And they're nesting on a fucking volcano.
Yep.
What? Like, how is that? Like, the movie posits that ancient Israelites trained the domesticated
the monkeys,
the monkeys, the gorillas,
and selectively bred
the most like violent.
See, and I was under the impression they weren't mining. They were the
guards. They were the guards.
They were killing anyone who threatened the mine
or tried to take the diamonds. And then they turned on their masters.
On the masters, yeah, because the masters were also taking the diamonds.
How have they been surviving and breeding in this diamond mine with like no reason? We don't see any. We don't see any.
I know we never see them breeding. That's a big.
No, we never see. Like, what are they eating? What are they surviving? Like, they're just like hollowed out.
Yeah, they almost have like a beehive. They're more and more like murder hornets.
They are. They're basically murder hornets. Yeah.
They have like a hollowed out cliffside.
Yeah.
Prime location for lava cannonballing.
Thousands of them.
There's many. I didn't count them. There's a lot of them.
There are a lot.
They've been breeding a lot since
generations.
And I mean, my guess is they're eating anything that walks their way, minus the eyeballs.
Right.
The eyeballs send
they don't eat eyeballs.
I don't know. Maybe the jungle provides a good I mean, volcanic soil is supposed to be very fertile,
but nothing's growing there. I mean, we see
there's a lot of plants. They're like leafy plants. Maybe they're having a lot of salads.
Maybe. I mean, gorillas are herbivores for the most part.
Yeah, they're omnivores, but it's mostly plants.
Mostly plant based.
You get the meat you can. But these guys were getting a lot of meat.
These guys are carnivores.
Yeah, they're killing everything.
Sketch. How do they survive?
Well, the volcano is hot.
It is.
And they sleep on their bellies.
Okay.
And the heat from the volcano nourishes them.
Oh.
And fuels the fire of their rage. Done. And guys, you make fun of me as much as you want. That could have been in the movie.
Could have been in
the movie. Literally could have been in the movie.
I mean, yeah. In the logic of this movie, it makes total sense.
Yep. I got one for you.
Okay.
And I clarified this. I went back and rewatched the scene.
Oh my God.
Which is a doozy for this
one.
The hieroglyphics that are all over this mine.
Which are Egyptian, not Israeli.
No. Tim Curry deciphers them and they mean, we are watching you.
Right.
With the eyeball. Peter puts it together. Oh, it was the trainers. The trainers were watching over the gorillas.
The gorillas.
My question is, the goddamn trainers teach the gorillas how to read hieroglyphics. Like, does Peter hear the things that are coming out of his mouth? So now we have naturally sign languaging and natural hieroglyphic reading.
Hieroglyphic reading.
Could you imagine? Okay. We've both trained dogs.
Yes.
Right?
More or less.
Could you imagine
if
the first
dog
thing
started
you do,
making hieroglyphics?
No, the first thing this is what this I'm going to take this movie and put it into real world.
Okay.
This would be like us writing down in English a list of things we want our dog to do. And then we sit down and we fucking teach our dogs not how to do these things, but to read. Read the list, dog. It's all clearly written down for you. That's what they're depositing in this. Which my answer for this is the easiest answer. The answer is just that Peter is wrong. Right. And that the hieroglyphics are meant for trespassers being the gorillas are the ones that are watching over.
Right.
But I played it back because I was like, surely I'm wrong about this.
Right.
There's no way Peter said, oh, it's the trainers. The trainers are watching.
We're watching them.
Nope.
We're watching.
I replayed it. That's what he says.
That's what he says. As if the trainers wrote
to the monkeys. The message is for the monkeys.
Right. We're watching you.
We're watching you.
Right.
Stay in line.
Right.
And I guess at some point they forgot how to read, and they started attacking the miners and the other humans.
I agree wholeheartedly. Peter does deposit that, and I think you're 100% right that it was intended that the trainers wrote that for trespassers.
Makes so much more sense.
As a warning. The other way, it makes sense any other way, and Peter is wrong about everything.
Because before the big white gorilla reveal,
right?
The movie does a good job of like not showing a gorilla, but you are aware you're being watched,
right?
So like that adds up, and it's extra spooky when Tim is like, oh, it means they're watching. I was like, yeah, no shit, it's all eyes. Like it's all eyes,
right?
Tim Curry, whose name I can't remember, your character name. So yeah, I mean, Peter is just a fucking idiot in this entire movie.
He is.
From start to finish.
Okay, here's a question sketch. The eye motif, like the green background with the yellow eye.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have made more sense for the gorillas to have those eyes as opposed to just like blue eyes?
Yeah, it was an eye in the middle of the mine. It was like a statue.
Right.
Yeah, it would have made a lot more sense if those were the eyes of the super aggressive gorillas.
The murder gorillas, yeah.
Would have made a lot more sense. There's a lot of things in this movie that would have made a lot more sense.
So what eye were they depicting? Because it's not the eye of Ra.
No, it's not the eye of Ra. It was like they developed a fantasy hieroglyphic for this movie, because when you look at those walls, it's like 50% eyes.
Right.
And then just gibberish.
But they're very closely modeled after like the all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar bill, which also doesn't make any
antiquity.
sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This movie doesn't understand anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
But communication. That was pretty good when she fires the laser and it cuts a monkey in half, and like Ernie Hudson is like, "What's that?" She goes, "It's the latest in communications." I was like, "It's a good line." I'm not gonna lie about that. That's a good line, and that's good delivery.
What? I've been thinking this. I didn't write it down. What was the laser powered by? It seems to deposit that the crystals power the laser, but the crystal is the focusing element.
Yeah,
that's what the diamonds are for. They need it to focus the beam.
You know what I equate it to?
It seems to posit that the diamonds are powering the laser.
What I equate it to is the way that Hollywood deposits welding. When they're welding something in Hollywood, you just get both sides hot and they stick
push
together.
Them together, right? You need some kind of
There's no soldering component in the middle of that.
You need. Yeah.
I feel like Hollywood also believes that diamonds contain this
infinite power source,
infinite amount of energy.
Okay,
and all you need is a machine that like holds it up in front of mirrors, and then fucking all the energy comes out. Like, I swear we see this
all the time.
Yeah, and that it's just like one of the like.
GoldenEye, like the GoldenEye is the same thing, right? It's like a diamond and a satellite, and to fire the laser, they need the diamond, right?
Let's say that the murder gorillas win, and we're all wiped out.
Okay.
And 500 years from now,
Planet
the ancestors of murder gorilla, smart murder gorillas, are archaeologists looking at our civilization and our media. They're gonna go, these idiots thought diamonds had powers in them. It's a good thing we fucking murdered them all. Like, and you know what?
It is.
That's fair, Murder Gorillas. That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. Stop the lie, Hollywood. There's no power in diamonds.
And you need some kind of soldering element to weld.
Yes.
You can't just like put fire on metal and make them stick together.
And while we're at it, monkeys shouldn't smoke.
Or drink martinis. Stop giving the monkeys alcohol and cigarettes. And Jansport backpacks, mother of God. Ah!
And if you're going to set it up in the movie,
dander up.
Then you have to, I mean, how could you not give me one South American fruit that goes well with peaches?
Sketch, those are mangoes. Once again.
Okay, but I'm still mad about
still
mad about the diamonds.
Congo.
Diamonds. Satellites. Murder Gorillas. Do you have any more big questions?
I have one more.
I also have one more. You can go.
Okay. Sketch, Team Science or Team Murder Gorilla?
Is it, am I pigeonholed into this Team Science?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Team Murder Gorilla all day.
Okay, we're in agreement.
Oh, Team Murder Gorilla.
Team Murder Gorilla all day.
All day.
All day. I felt like they were 100% justified.
The Murder Gorillas.
Murder Gorillas.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the premise of the movie, these assholes show up in their home.
Yeah.
They set up this like laser detection grid that the gorillas can't see, by the way.
Yeah, no, anything.
Only the humans can see it because they've got like the UV light. The gorillas cannot see the beams until they turn.
Investigate, they will be shot.
Just shoot them to pieces.
Yeah.
And then they're like chilling in their murder hornet underground volcanic hive.
Yeah.
And again, these assholes show up with a fucking laser and start turning them into Swiss cheese.
No, I mean, I want
100% Team Murder Gorilla.
I mean, I want a remake of this movie where it's 100% from the Murder Gorilla point of view.
Oh, I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're like, look at these assholes
starring
with these backpacks held together with duct tape.
Let's see, who would we have to put in this movie? I mean, Ernie Hudson has to be in it.
Ernie Hudson has to be in it. Tim Curry probably
as the
can't be in it.
Compelling human.
Yeah.
Right, because
So
you have to have someone on the bad
alone.
side.
Just leave him alone.
The Rock is obviously one of the alpha murder gorillas.
I was going to say The Rock could play Herkimer Homuncle. That would be fantastic.
Okay, and we don't say anything about it. Like we don't even address.
We don't. It's just The Rock.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously, Murder Gorillas played by just an army of Daniel Radcliffe's.
Oh.
I mean, we got a movie.
Oh my God, I would watch the shit out of that movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Team Murder Gorilla. Science was, and because it was all greedy science too. I mean, they were there to get the diamonds, and you know what? If you didn't go into their diamond mine, those gorillas weren't branching out to. It's not like these were spreading, and like
you had to set foot inside of Zinj.
Yeah.
If you didn't set foot inside of Zinj, they left you the fuck alone. Sketch, I could not be more Team Murder Gorilla if they like turned to camera and Deadpooled Harambe.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm referencing, Google Harambe. Like
it's 2021, I think we all R.I.P. Prince.
Harambe.
My last question.
Okay.
Bring it back to sesame cakes. Bring it back. # bring it back to sesame cakes.
Eating my sesame cake.
How safe can sesame cakes feel? I don't know his character name, so I call them sesame cakes. Feel knowing that Karen's bag was not searched that well because it had thousands and thousands of dollars inside, just left willy-nilly.
Right.
I like to think that after that scene and he let them go, he had a stern talking to his security force.
I mean, that could have been a bomb.
It could have been anything.
It could have been any.
It could have been a tiny murder gorilla.
Thousands of dollars.
Like you would just think she wouldn't be allowed within 4 feet of him with a bag that obviously has not been searched.
So, he knows Monroe Kelly.
He does know Monroe Kelly.
He trusts Monroe Kelly.
But Homunculus is there, whatever his name is. So, like, we're like breaking even, you know? Like, we're like, okay, here's a really trustworthy person and a very untrustworthy person.
He trusts Monroe Kelly.
More than he distrusts
the people that are with him.
Okay. That's a fair.
That's my answer.
That's a fair.
He knows that he isn't gonna screw him.
Yeah. Okay.
They both know how this works. They need to get through the border.
Yeah.
They're not gonna mess it up.
Perfect.
I agree 100%. When the president's car has just been blown up.
Yeah, and you're going to let a stranger sit 4 feet.
Yeah.
Sharing some sesame cakes. Close enough to share sesame cakes is too close to have an unsearched bag.
Unsearched bag, yes. Strong agree.
More. And she's like, all right, more stacks.
Fine.
More stacks of money. Or maybe they did, and they told him exactly how much was in it. Like, she's got,
and that's why he was like more.
Yeah. And so she gives him 20,000. He's like, more.
I think that's more plausible that the bag was searched and they knew exactly how much was in it.
Yeah. There you go.
That's a great point. Yeah. It's very observant.
Thank you. Someone had to be observant.
Yeah. Nobody else on this movie was.
Guys, we gave it in the 70s. It was still fun.
It was fun. Sketch.
Watch it once.
Would you watch it agag?
Yeah. Again?
Yeah.
I would watch the last half hour again.
That's fair.
I would watch all the Ernie Hudson parts again. I would fast forward through anything where it's just or primarily Peter.
Yeah.
And Amy.
You can skip the first 40 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Wait till they meet Ernie Hudson. Once they meet Ernie Hudson, watch the movie.
Yeah. I think that's like 22 minutes in or 30 minutes
Maybe.
in. Ernie Hudson.
Yeah, because that's when it picks up.
Does Cypher show up again at some point?
Is Cypher the communication company?
No, Cypher is the Cypher from The Matrix.
Oh, that was his name in The Matrix.
I can't think of the actor's name.
He shows up 2 times, but at the same airport. So he gets them off the plane and drives them past the president's car that's just been blown up. And then the plane that brings them to Africa. Then he helps them load the smaller plane going into the Congo that eventually gets shot down. So he's just
he's
the
there. Fixer. He's the fixer.
He's just gathering things.
Yep.
Except for hot air balloons.
Correct.
You got
we don't need that. You got the second one.
Chekhov's gun. You're gonna need it.
You're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Chekhov's hot air balloon.
You're not gonna fly out of here on a murder gorilla laser beam.
I mean, there were enough murder gorillas that they could have made a raft and surfed on the lava. There were enough.
Guys, season 3, if we had season 3 swag, it would have to be a Swiss Army knife with a rind grinder and a Simeon slicer. And what are we going to add to it next week?
I don't know.
You're just going to have to tune in to find out. It's going to be the coolest effing Swiss Army knife ever.
Sketch, you might need to get on that.
Yeah.
That's a great visual.
So yeah. So are we both in agreement? Start at when they get to Africa?
Yeah, when Monroe Kelly shows up on screen, start watching.
Just understand that they're there to release a gorilla and the girl has an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
And then start watching. Yeah. That's all you need.
Well, and so does Homolka.
Oh yeah, he's there too. I forgot he's there too.
Ulterior motive.
Yeah. Lust, the homunculus.
Yeah, sure.
He probably would have been more no, he was a go-getter. He wouldn't be sloth.
No, he was a go-getter.
Envy?
Greed.
Greed. I love it. We landed on greed.
He's greed.
Greed the homunculus.
Yeah.
Is there too. That was the accent we were hearing. I guess that brings us to Shades and Sketch recommendations. You want to start it?
Yeah. Sketch. Have you ever seen the show Leverage?
Don't think so.
Okay, I don't know if I've recommended this before, longtime listeners. Leverage is a Dean Devlin show. Dean Devlin, screenwriter of Independence Day.
The first one.
The Librarian, both Independence Days, actually. The Librarian TV series, and Leverage was a show in 2008, and the premise of the show is they assemble a team of criminals. There's a hitter, a hacker, a grifter, and a thief.
Okay.
And there's a quote unquote good man that he's an insurance adjuster that's supposed to search out insurance fraud, but he goes over to the dark side and he puts them all together.
Mm-hmm.
And 2008 financial crisis, Great Recession, whatever you want to call it. They basically go after the wealthy who abuse the system because they're untouchable, and they break them, and they bring them to a different form of justice. Mm-hmm. And it's a fun show. And so they've created a reboot or a continuation. It's not really a reboot. It's called Leverage Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a slightly different premise, but they've got all of the cast returning with the exception of Timothy Hutton. They wrote him out of the show, replaced him with Noah Wiley. And it's so fun. It's such a fun show. And the premise of the first show is that the wealthy uses their power to abuse the system. And in the decade between, instead of using their wealth to abuse the system and avoid the repercussions of the system, they are the system now. And the whole system's broken.
Yeah.
And so
this is high fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's what's great is it's a low budget show, but the writing and character development is so fucking good. And it's like that. It's when a show when you watch a show and the characters feel like your friends and they go on a journey and they are forever changed. And what's really cool is to come back to those characters a decade later and where their story ended, but they can still grow and change more. It's not just all of us. It's not just like rehashing the same old thing over and over. And it's so fun. It's so well done. It's a low budget show and it's campy and it pokes fun at itself, but the characters are so good. And it made me think of Independence Day is fantastic. Independence Day Resurgence was so god awful.
It was not good.
And the thing that really fell down between the two was the character development. The characters in Independence Day are so good, and the characters in Independence Day Resurgence are so terrible.
Yeah, even the characters that are in both.
Exactly. And you just wind up not caring about them. And this is the exact opposite. And I love a show where it feels like you're spending time with old friends. It's like why I go back and rewatch Firefly, The Next Generation, and this feels like spending time with old friends, but I get to have new adventures with them. So it's Leverage Redemption. It's on IMDb TV. I don't know
that was a thing.
I don't know that was a
streaming thing.
I watch it on Amazon. It's included with my Amazon Prime membership, which is awesome. 16 episodes, and if I've talked about it before, I'm talking about it again because part 2, the next 8 episodes, just dropped on October 9th. And I binged it all. I binged all 8 episodes in the span of a week. I had a lot of fun. The names that you might know of the cast are Beth Riesgraf, Christian Kane, and Aldous Hodge, whose career is blowing up right now. And he's not in a lot of the show, but his presence is felt very heavily, and his shooting schedule was very difficult. So he's in the first 2 episodes of Leverage Redemption, and he's in the last 2 episodes of Leverage Redemption. And then I'm sorry?
He's the bookends.
Yeah, and it really makes the whole series work. And I think it's really cool when an actor feels when an actor goes outside of goes out of their way so much to be in a project, it's a special thing because when your career is blowing up, you don't have a lot of time. Shooting schedules are precious. So to make these episodes work, it inconvenienced a lot of people. I think it's really cool. I think it says a lot about the world and the show and the cast and the crew that you make it work at that point in your career. So Leverage Redemption, I'm really enjoying it. I've got 1 episode left to watch.
Oh,
the final episode.
Okay.
And what's fun is the setup of every episode is let's go steal a insert here.
Nice.
And so it's a group of criminals righting wrongs. Very A-Team, very Knight Rider, very Mod Squad, but a fun premise, a different premise, and well executed on a low budget.
Speaking of Knight Rider, Peter looked like he could have been Michael Knight's son.
Yeah, I agree.
Didn't have the personality of Michael Knight's son.
No, not at all.
But looked like he could have.
Kit would have ejector seated him out of the T-top.
I thought that a couple of different times in the movie. I was like, he really looks like he's channeling Michael Knight.
Channeling some Hoff.
Yeah. All right, good.
Sketch,
so,
what's your recommendation?
Shades.
Yes.
Where do you come down on Sasquatch?
Like, do I believe in
Mhm.
Sasquatch?
Mhm.
When I was younger, I read all the Bigfoot books.
Mhm.
I think it's been effectively debunked.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I enjoy a good mystery, and I would be happy to be proven wrong on that.
Meet the Squatch himself.
Sure.
So there's this podcast that was recommended to me.
Okay.
It's called Wild Thing. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, so here's the premise. There's this woman. She's a journalist, and she found this old article written about a predominant Sasquatch researcher.
Okay.
And there were two things about it that, and she was not like a believer or anything like that. This was brought to her attention. And two things struck her about it. One, that this was a highly regarded scientist in his field of anthropology who
he was not carrying a JanSport backpack.
He was not
I'll
carrying
tell
a
you
sports
that.
backpack. But he was trying to pursue in the 70s and 80s, all the way up until his death in the 2000s. He was trying to pursue the idea of Sasquatch with scientific thought and process. And what really sparked her interest was that he had her last name. And so she researched him, and he ended up being like a long lost cousin of hers.
Really?
And she started asking family about him, found out he was a real character, and then started asking Sasquatch questions and kind of started not uncovering. They're out there and they're not trying to hide, but like
Sasquatch believers.
Yeah. And so she has this show.
He's like the king.
He is like,
they worship him.
Yeah, I mean he's like the most highly respected.
They all know him.
They're quoting
all of his research.
And she became fascinated by it. Not so much like
the cults.
Yeah, like the idea of that there could be this creature out there, and the people who've just given it their all.
Yeah.
To find him. And so the podcast called Wild Thing is about the science, the belief, and kind of the society around Sasquatch. And she breaks it down. They're very short, half-hour episodes apiece. There's only 9 episodes.
Okay.
But she really delves into this world of like believers.
Yeah.
And she's very respectful, although she remains skeptical.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing. Each episode is kind of broken up. Like there's a whole episode on DNA sequencing and how that's being used to try to find it. There's a whole episode on how Sasquatch has become like a brand that's synonymous throughout all of American culture. And so she's really just talking about this phenomenon that is Sasquatch, the belief in him, the science behind that he's there, the science behind that he's not there.
Right.
And just kind of all things A to the Z Sasquatch, driven by this crazy family tie, and also aided by that because she gets in a lot of interviews because you're the cousin of
you have the
so and so. Holy come to our event. We'll talk to you. And so she gets all this. She talks to all these scientists. It's this great.
That is bonkers.
Yeah, it's this really great eye-opening podcast to me of like, it's not the shade. It's not black and white like we're led to believe. You believe in Sasquatch, you don't believe in Sasquatch. If you believe, there's a whole variety of people who believe.
Sure.
If you don't believe, there's a whole variety of reasons why you don't believe.
Right.
And she really just goes over the social phenomenon that is Sasquatch in this thing. It was a very well produced podcast. I really liked how it was laid out, and I'm not necessarily a believer in Sasquatch, but I'm like, I like a good Sasquatch story. You know, like I like it's like a campfire story.
Here's where I come down on Sasquatch.
Yeah.
If exists.
Yeah.
We humans have shot it and eaten it.
Probably.
It's dead now.
Yeah.
Like all of them.
Yeah.
Like if a Sasquatch walked the earth, we have shot it, we have skinned it, we have worn its hide, and we've eaten it.
And oops.
And it's probably delicious. Yep. That's kind of what we do.
There you go. That is what we do. Yeah. Yeah, we devour. So anyway, so I recommend Wild Thing podcast. Not necessarily. I mean, if you if you are a firm believer in Sasquatch and you are already aware of all this, like the
truth is out there.
podcast probably isn't for you because it's really just bringing this to light to your normal layman who, yeah, of course, we've all heard of Sasquatch, but this is really showing you the community around the Sasquatch.
Whenever someone says Sasquatch,
Yeah.
what I immediately think of is, remember when we go up to New Hampshire, there's that gas station
Yeah.
with the alien sightings?
Yeah.
That's what I think of.
Yeah.
But like thousands
Oh, yeah.
of, those things spread out all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
That's immediately what comes to mind.
And it's funny that you say that because I've only listened to season 1, which was this season on Bigfoot and Sasquatch. But I guess she enjoyed it so much this
season 2
that she made a season 2. I haven't started listening to it yet, but it's the same premise of like understanding the science and the social surrounding of Sasquatch, but now it's alien life.
Oh, okay.
So it's a different topic, but same format.
Her name doesn't have any currency in this circle, though.
No, but I think
she's done the Sasquatch show.
I think
so
she got a lot of respect for
Social
that
currency.
and how she treated the topic and how she's very respectful for it. That she was able to open up more people.
Hey, we'll all ninja run at Area 51 and we'll get the truth.
Yeah, we can't do that again because after that happens,
I know.
Everything went down.
You only make a ninja run at Area 51 once.
Yes. So Wild Thing podcast, it's fun and it's short. And it's really
I'll check it out.
eye-opening.
I'm looking for a new podcast, so I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Sketch. You gonna take anything?
Of course. How could you have Congo? And how could you have it end with a simian slicer without me taking this plate of sesame cakes? They look delectable.
I would imagine they are
I'm not going to eat
incredibly
this
stale.
one. This one looks a little pre-chewed.
Regurgitated. Stay clear
The
of them.
rest,
I mean, there
lovely.
is quite a bit of mold growing on that sesame cake.
Just add some of the flavor.
Scrape it off.
Penicillin keeps us
That's
in
fair.
fights back the jungle diseases.
Sketch, I'm taking the simian slicer.
I kind of was saving it for you.
I'm going. It's basically a lightsaber.
You put a rind grinder on that, and you have the weapon from Fifth Element.
Basically. I'm going to mount it to the front of the Firebird, and the phasers at maximum.
Yeah,
we're gonna go find some Klingons.
Yeah,
and It's on.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
So guys, obviously, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
we carved the turkey for you. All that murder gorilla meat. Gather the family.
Team Murder Gorilla.
And sesame cakes. I mean, that's
sesame cake and murder gorilla meat.
We're depositing that is the new Thanksgiving meal tradition.
Hey, I mean, the world would be such a different place.
Murder gorilla meat and sesame cakes. Yum.
What kind of sauce do you put on your murder gorilla meat?
I like them raw.
Oh, okay.
Raw murder gorilla flanks.
This is getting
no.
dark.
Obviously it's boysenberry. You don't even need to say it. It's obviously boysenberry. But so guys, thank you for joining the holiday with us and Congo. And thanks for being a long-time listener.
Yes, and thanks for writing in with the suggestion.
Nobody
from Jakku. We had a lot of fun with this.
I swear it's hotter. I feel like some of the monkey meat
what was that?
Cooked on the ground.
Sketch.
Yes.
Volcano.
We have been talking a lot about a volcano and a King Solomon diamond mine.
Let's start packing up. It is.
Are we going
time to go?
Hastily dismantle the GoCo?
It's time to hastily dismantle GoCo. Long-time listeners.
We'll see you next time.
Bangarang.
Winnebago. If you'd like to take a more active role in supporting Geeking Out, visit us at
our website, shows.acast.com/geekingout.
You can email the show at gowithshadesandsketch@gmail.com or contact us through Facebook or Twitter.
Geeking Out is a production of Tree Cave Creative, LLC. All rights reserved, 2021.